Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. Now, you're probably wondering, why should I watch over here instead of anywhere else? And that's because over there, they don't care about what you have to say. They say this all the time. They talk down to us. They think we're just a bunch of clowns on YouTube, Twitter. But I think it's the opposite. I think we know exactly what we're talking about. So I read every single comment. So if you think what I'm saying is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, let me know in the comments below. If you think what I'm saying is the most amazing thing, then definitely please let me know. Either way, let's get into some discussions, let's get into some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. So without further ado, let's get to it. We're watching a clip of Undisputed talking about Mike Zimmer being hired as the new defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. This is such a fascinating decision. It's kind of an easier decision. I know it was like between him and like Rex Ryan and Ron Rivera. I think those Ron Rivera and Rex Ryan would be tough because they're two such big personalities in the NFL. Ron Rivera less so, Rex Ryan more so. Rex Ryan, I feel like, is the kind of guy who would be just waiting to take over the job as soon as McCarthy would go, and so I don't think you'd want that. I don't think Mike Zimmer really has a chance at being promoted to the head coaching job if, say, Mike McCarthy got fired next season. But I feel like Rex Ryan would be trying to, like, you know, having little meetings with Jerry Jones and just being like, I can do better, I can do better, I can do better. So I think, you know, that would be kind of the risk of hiring a Rex Ryan. I don't know. You know, it's funny. I don't know how much how much say of Mike McCarthy had in this decision, right? Like, that's actually kind of an interesting question. I don't really know enough about how, you know, they go about hiring, but I do have some thoughts about whether or not this makes any difference for the Dallas Cowboys. So I want to hear what they have to say, and then we'll go from there.
Obviously, and Rex was still in play until they finished it up with Zim. But I like to pat myself on the back from a couple weeks ago, though.
Okay, because you pick that?
I said that they need to talk to Zim.
I like
and I think they picked the right guy. I think they got the right guy. Rex would have been great too, Skip. But I think in this situation, given the fact that Zim spent 12 years on the sidelines in Dallas.
He did.
Okay, defensive back coach, couple years under Dave Campo. And I was like, Campo's the head coach of the Cowboys?
He was. Can you believe it?
That was so long ago. God, those are bad years. And then he spent 4 with Bill Parcells. So there's some familiarity there. He understands the way...
He coordinated
for us. And there's familiarity. He understands Jerry. Jerry understands him. He knows the city. Like, he just knows what being a Cowboy is all about. So it works perfect. You got a great offense. Now you got to put your defense together. If you hire Rex Ryan, you're becoming aggressive. Gaping cavities and holes wide open in the secondary if the blitz doesn't come. No, all those sort of things.
We had that last year, whether we blitzed or not, but go ahead.
But you now have a coach who is not as aggressive, but it could be aggressive at times, who's coordinated pretty good defenses in Cincinnati as well as Minnesota.
He did.
He's not far removed from coaching. You know, he's just a head coach a couple years ago, so he's still fresh.
And as you kept saying, he was hovering around Deion's program all year in Colorado.
Exactly. And on top of that, you know how we always talked about Dan Quinn waiting to be the next guy? Well, I wouldn't run away from Zim waiting to be the next guy if it don't go well with Mike McCarthy either.
What I would say, I mean, he has been a really solid head coach. Minnesota was really competitive for a number of years, always had great players, disciplined, sound scheme. But I thought near the end for Zimmer, teams found answers for his scheme. That's why in 2020 they were 29th in points allowed, 27th in yards allowed. 2021 they were 24th in points allowed, 30th in yards allowed, because the league is cyclical. And he did a great job early on. If you look at 2019, they were 5th in points allowed and 14th in yards allowed. They figure things out. Right now, it's teams running too high. Hey, keep a cap on the defense. We don't want Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow bombing everybody. We want to make them walk the ball down the field and game manage. I think it's going to evolve back to cover 3 and guys going back, dropping a safety in the box, not letting people run the ball as successfully as they have. But I hope that he adjusts with the times. And I think that might be a reason they didn't hire Rex. Rex hasn't been in the game in a long time, and his scheme is very pressure centric. It's very he might drop a D tackle into the deep third and blitz everybody else. You know, he does a lot of unconventional things. And I think Zimmer runs a very sound scheme, a scheme you can explain, a scheme that has answers for just about everything. You know, it may not be as sound against the run as Irv said yesterday, and rarely are they top 10 in run defense, but he's usually right there in points.
So, okay, we can keep kind of unpacking all of his schemes and stuff like that, but that's beyond the scope of this video and honestly unnecessary right now. My biggest point in question is this: what do you think what do the Cowboys believe that they're going to achieve by these decisions? They're staying the same at head coach. They're staying the same, you know, in offense. Mike McCarthy obviously leads that offense. They're going to run it back with all their same players. And their defense now, which was really, really great under Dan Quinn, is now supposed to take like another step forward with Mike Zimmer, where Dan Quinn is so good that he had multiple coaching offers for like the last couple of years, actually, really. And now he's the head coach. So you have to imagine, you have to concede that Dan Quinn is a better defensive coordinator, defensive type coach than Mike Zimmer. So are you saying that you think that the defense is going to get even better than it was last season? Not to mention, let's say that does happen. Is your offense good enough? Is Dak Prescott good enough? So I don't see how this decision makes the Cowboys any better. And if you're not getting better, then what good is it? Like, if you weren't good enough last season and now you're not getting better, why do you think you're going to have a better outcome than you did? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't really make sense. The 49ers are going nowhere. And so there's no reason to believe that the Cowboys won't be owned by the 49ers again. The Eagles should legitimately be getting better. They got their DC and their OC. So in theory, they should be significantly better. And if that's the case, then okay, that makes life harder for the Cowboys. The Packers are well on their way. We already know what the Packers did to the Cowboys. You know, and again, so Mike Zimmer's not changing that. Mike McCarthy isn't magically changing that. Mike McCarthy is who he is. Dak Prescott is who he is. So again, Detroit Lions, they're getting better because now their weapons that made the Detroit Lions really good and into the NFC Championship were a lot of these young guys who had never been there before. Now they've been there. Now they understand. So they should be really good and competitive. So I don't understand why, if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, why you think like you're going to be better than you were this past season. Now, if they make some serious moves, and I don't think this would ever happen, but like if they saw, A.J. Brown is disgruntled in Philly and they make a play to get like an A.J. Brown, and again, I don't know what's necessarily possible, Justin Jefferson or something like that, then I could say, okay, the Cowboys are making more moves and that makes sense. But that has not been what Jerry Jones is about. And there's been no like whispers of that yet. And usually you hear whispers of these things, even if the deals obviously aren't happening yet. But you still kind of hear like Jerry said that he's making, a big move, especially the way he talks, right? Like, if anything, he would have given some interview where he said, we are going to boost this offense. Just wait until you see what we do. Like, he's obviously, never shy for words. So, and I haven't heard that. I mean, we've heard Micah Parsons try to be like, well, I need to get more guys. And it's like, before all season you said that your team was great and you can compete with the 49ers and these other teams, and yet you clearly couldn't. So now, like, technically your big splash moves have been to keep Mike McCarthy and to get Mike Zimmer, and I'm not seeing where that's the difference maker. And if there's no difference maker, then there's not going to be any difference from this season to the next. So that's the way I view it. It's just hard for me to imagine that I think the Cowboys will have a very similar season as they did this last season, where they're going to blow out some teams and then they're going to lose a weird game or two. And then when they play a good team, it'll be a close game, and they might win or they're going to lose. Like, it's just going to be the same old. And they're going to get to the playoffs and they're going to say, this time's different. We know what needs to be done. We're ready to do it. And then they're going to lose to the Packers, lose to the Eagles, lose to the Detroit Lions, lose to the 49ers. I mean, that's what's going to happen. Who knows? The way this season unfolds, they might not even make the playoffs. They might not be able to get the wild card. Okay, because they were kind of very fortunate that the Eagles just completely collapsed. And then also there was other key injuries around, the NFC that allowed some of these other teams to kind of like sneak on by. And, obviously that could happen again next season. You never know. And maybe the Eagles still end up being bad, even with their coordinators. Maybe that wasn't the problem at all. Maybe keeping Sirianni was a huge mistake, which I didn't really want to keep Sirianni for the record. But maybe Sirianni really is just not that great. And so even when you get these two, the new OC and the new DC, it's just not good enough. And maybe Jalen Hurts was never that special. And there you go. And then that's like really the best bet for the Cowboys. But even if that is the reality, let's say that ends up being true, they're not better than the Packers. The Packers are going to be even better than they were last season, and they owned you, okay? The Packers beat the Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? So the 49ers demolished you. And the Detroit Lions almost beat them, okay? And the Detroit Lions should have beaten the Cowboys. That was a fluke why they didn't. You gave their best ever. The Miami Dolphins, who are not even that good, they beat you. So the Cowboys were just never that good. They just beat up on bad teams. They had a losing record against winning teams, especially Dak Prescott. So I think the Cowboys needed to make significantly bigger, more prominent moves, and they just haven't done that yet. So I'm just not really anticipating them being all that different going into next season as they were last season. But what do you all think? Would love to hear your thoughts below. Please let me know in the comments below if you think Mike Zimmer is a good hire, if you would have went with someone different, whether it be Rex Ryan, Ron Rivera, or someone new. What do you think the Cowboys should do to get better, to finally get it? Because we know this next season coming up, it's got to be an NFC championship or but. I mean, even at this point, an NFC championship is not good enough. They got to get to the Super Bowl. I mean, what Dallas Cowboys fan would be happy just to make it to the NFC championship this year, the next coming year? Like, I'm just not seeing it. So would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know. Please don't forget to subscribe. As I said, we are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see a part of it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.